they treat you, the home care agency, not as an outsider. You're in it. You're part of the fabric of the community. So it was just a wonderful experience that we had, and you see our customers having, where they are the show
Hmm.
and thought they're now part of that community and they can't live without them. And they are helping the residents live better lives, have companionship, engagement, um, stay longer, healthier. There's so many benefits. The community executive directors, they're patting themselves on the back because they chose Kevin's home care agency. And looking what the amazing impact they have. So it's a family affair.
So, as we continue to explore solutions that help home care agencies, home health agencies increase their brand experience within their communities, I'm bringing in today Tim Murray, who is going to talk about some different ways home care agencies can engage in their community through senior community centers. There's a lot of technology with that. I love technology that increases the human experience and the compassion experience. This is one of those that makes it a lot more comfortable between home care agencies working with senior communities to ensure good quality of care and consistency of care with those residents they have in their communities too. Tim and I have known each other for a while. Tim, why don't you go ahead and introduce Cinch real quick for me here, Cinch CCM. Let people know what it's about, and then we'll get into some of this discussion about how the experiences agencies are able to provide can be enhanced through your system, through your processes.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thanks, Kevin. No, first off, thank you for having me on board and having the opportunity to speak with people. Just a little bit of background about Cinch Community Care Management. Cinch came about actually while my wife Gina, co-founder and nurse, we had Aware Senior Care, a home care agency from 2014 to 2020. It was quite an amazing experience, and we were like you guys, duking it out, helping people. It was a great opportunity. But we have challenges, marketing, growing your customer base. And we got into independent living communities. We found out that independent living communities, you have hundreds of people living in apartment buildings that's their home, that they need help. But that business model is very different, where the help they need is a med reminder or a wake up, just knock on the door. Could be 5 minutes, 7 minutes. And that's what's called fractional care, is difficult. And we did not have we had a traditional home care technology. It was very good. It was clear care, but like other technology, not designed to help caregivers and schedulers deliver this type of care. So we had the calling to build Cinch CCM. So we had our home care agency during the day, and at night we'd work with developers to develop Cinch. We launched Cinch in 2020, and we were in 4 large communities, and the impact to our business was tremendous. When we sold the agency, we're now marketing and selling Cinch. So people said, "What is Cinch?" Cinch is a SaaS solution that was purpose built for independent living, and we built it for schedulers to manage well and efficiently very short home care visits and senior independent living, with a mobile platform for the caregivers that's really simple to use, that can be worked offline, where they can focus on care and not documentation. So this is a paperless system. And the net is the upside is it improves the well-being of the residents and extends their ability to stay where they love most, in independent living. And
That's
that's
awesome.
the Cinch story.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I know because I've had family in senior communities, and I love you've kind of corrected me on this before we started, and we'll get into the experience side of this as well too. This terminology, this phraseology. I kept on saying senior facility. You kept on
Right.
saying no, it's community, and it
Right.
goes down to just creating connective communication and messaging. And I love how you're looking for more of a bridge in a community sense, not just between the clients, patients in these communities, but also the community that's built between the home care agencies and the communities themselves, the businesses that they're working with, where the seniors are staying. Now, I've seen in a lot of home care situations where they graduate, we'll call it, into needing more of a 24/7 care that goes beyond the home, goes into a senior community. I've seen in senior communities where they have great CNAs and RN staff, but even sometimes then it gets a little bit much to give the kind of care that every family wants for their loved one while they're in that community. I've seen name tags of various home care businesses walking through the halls to help supplement that. And it's a lot of logistics to make that happen. So, looking at Cinch CCM and the benefits that it provides, we're going to talk two different ways here because there's a benefit I feel that the communities have where seniors are staying, as well as the home care agencies working with them. And so, as you've worked with dozens of businesses now in the last 5 years, and probably more than that, might be shortchanging you there. Um, what are some of the key benefits that you've noticed between the communities and the caregivers, and then also to the clients and their families, that's come as a result of employing this technology in the middle here and making this leverage, success and options for everyone?
Yeah. I think of Cinch as the connectivity bringing together the caregivers, the residents, the agency, and the community. You're one big family. An analogy I like to use is Cinch is a technology, but we developed a model we call embedded home care. So you think you come into a nice hotel, and inside there's a Starbucks. Starbucks is an experience. And instead of them doing their own coffee, bring in someone that really knows how to take care of people from a coffee experience standpoint. The same thing for home care. The independent living recognizes they can do so much. Why not bring in a home care agency that knows how to take care of people? And embedded means they're part of the fabric of the community. What I saw, I'd walk into a community as the home care agency, and we were on site, and residents will pull me inside and say, "You cannot let Susan leave." Like they and they treat you, the home care agency, not as an outsider. You're in it. You're part of the fabric of the community. So it was just a wonderful experience that we had, and you see our customers having, where they are the show
Hmm.
and thought they're now part of that community and they can't live without them. And they are helping the residents live better lives, have companionship, engagement, um, stay longer, healthier. There's so many benefits. The community executive directors, they're patting themselves on the back because they chose Kevin's home care agency. And looking what the amazing impact they have. So it's a family affair. It's a really different
Absolutely.
business model.
When you look at the one-on-one, so as we're talking here today, I'm not sure when people will actually watch this or when you're watching right now,
Yeah.
viewer. As we're talking right now, my mom is getting ready to start in-home care, and it's going to be a one-on-one situation. Eventually, it may require her going to a memory care facility, which would mean instead of one-on-one, you got plenty of people to one. And the one-on-one is tough enough to coordinate. I know that the company we're working with right now is looking at shifting some schedules around to give a part-time caregiver that wanted full-time the opportunity to come to my mom full-time, but that means some adjustments, right? In a situation like this, where you're dealing with a separate company, this senior community, where there's residents, plural, and there's fractional care, plural, the logistics gets a little more complicated. And the communication can become very complicated as well, too, if you don't have some kind of a model and a framework to work within to make it all happen. So what are some of the things that you've seen that have helped ease some of that, we'll call it tension and friction, between home care agencies and these senior communities as they work more with each other in Cinch CCM?
Right. I think it's just kind of the plumbing. It's just the connectivity. We have messaging and a family portal, partner portal. In fact, with Cinch and the mobile, the client resident can give permission to anybody in their circle, which could include an executive director, a wellness director of the community, a family member. So you've got everybody now, think about it, speaking to each other through our platform. They can see schedules. They can request visits. So that connectivity is very helpful to work as a team. And that's what we created. People call it shared care. Caregivers are shared across clients. It's not a one-to-one situation, and they can help each other out without any back office intervention. So you can get a more done with less caregiver resources. So it's a team. It's a team effort, Kevin. And our success was we constantly would be in communication with the clients and the residents. the residents and the executive staff there, and we set expectations on how to work with us, what we can and we can't do. So one of our piece of advice right up front when you're in a community is to set expectations on how you're going to deliver the care, how you're going to communicate, how to communicate with you. And if you set the proper expectations and follow through, it's going to be a great situation. And that was our experience. But you have to manage the community. Don't have the community manage you. It's a piece of advice.
Exactly. Exactly. And I know there's been senior communities I've seen hit the news in the worst possible ways because there's breakdown. There's oversight, people get overlooked. In fact, there was a family here in East Idaho with an unfortunate, tragic situation that happened with a loved one of theirs. And for years, they were across the street from the senior community saying, don't go there. Like for years, once a year around the time that that event happened with their loved one, they would just go out there and hurt that business,
Yeah.
with signage saying don't go here. And so when you think about all the moving parts, you have, it's great that you're talking about the two working in one, right? The home care agency and the community working in one, because as caregivers come in and do this fractional quick care, if they don't have a really simple way of communicating to the senior community what happened, what was accomplished during those visits, what still needs to be attended to, because sometimes they may not be able to, even in the fractional time, they may not be able to accomplish everything that they wanted to accomplish, depending on the state of the patient, the client at that time, the
Yeah, sure.
resident, right? Whatever
It
level they're
happens
at.
all the time. It happens
Yeah,
all.
so you might go in and as a caregiver, you try and get something accomplished, but it's just not possible. And so a CNA or RN at the community needs to finish that process. So having some clear communication so there's not oversight, not breakdown, like for both sides, you have a positive experience because in the end, the client either is going to be well cared for and taken care of, and the family is going to be more at ease and more satisfied with what's happening, or there will be a bad experience, which isn't good for anyone. Like everyone involved gets frustrated and harmed by a bad experience. So I love that this technology is more about, all right, let's get all the notes in here together. Let's have everyone have access to the notes that needs access to the notes. So there's just total transparency, really, and what the comings and goings are surrounding that individual, that resident in the
Yeah.
community. So that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
visibility. You know, it's absolutely we even had, in a couple of communities where the front desk knows all, right? You know, the receptionist and so forth, was actually in Cinch. So, they could see and then message saying, "Mrs. Smith just called. Could you just stop by?" And one of our caregivers would say, "Got it," and run over there. So, it's about team. That's one of the strengths of the platform. We recognized early on you'll make a lot of headway with the community with giving them visibility and transparency, like you said, Kevin. There are no secrets here. You work as a team, and that's a really success formula. Cinch brings everybody together on a common platform, speaking a common language and having visibility.
One thing I love about this too is we're all aware that there's kind of a continuum of care with seniors and people aging or other limiting abilities that might be there. In home might be a short term to a long term situation where home care agencies have the opportunity to work with them long term. Sometimes, though, it gets to a point where a community is better. And for a lot of agencies, that means losing a client. Whereas this allows a home care agency to kind of work with and solicit that community to become a partner instead of just saying goodbye to a client and having a client go away. Now you as an agency have an opportunity to continue a relationship to provide impact for that family, even though the situation for the loved one has changed.
Yeah,
So you get to stay with them a little bit further into that continuum of care as well and supplement the care that's being given. I love that
yeah,
part.
yeah. You know, we had many instances that, again, will. You know, there are times when we had a client in the home, and you call them lean-to couples where the wife died or the husband died, and they're just miserable.
Mhm.
They're just isolation. And we would talk to the son and daughter and say, "Look, we could take care of your dad 24/7, but honestly, he needs to go to a community, and we can help you." And sometimes we lose that client, and that's okay because it's about them, it's not about us. But you know what kind of goodwill you get when you talk to a community and you refer somebody and they go there and there's no strings attached when it may not be they remember you. They remember you, and that can come back in good stead. And so when you get into community care, I think where you're going with this, Kevin, is yes, there's a continuum of care. You may not lose that client, you may, but your circle expands, your reputation expands, your opportunities expand. So
Well, and it goes
there's
the other way too. You might refer to them and lose a client or continue with the client if they're working with you with Cinch, right, as well.
right,
But sometimes care facilities have people come and it's not quite that time and it's exploratory. But sometimes the care facilities, the communities, correct myself
yeah,
again here,
yeah,
right? Sometimes those communities are like, you know what? Not quite there. Have you tried in home? And here's a couple companies to go try first before we say it's time to put mom or dad in the community.
right,
Sometimes it goes both ways. And so, yeah, it reaches further. You have more connective experiences, more positive experiences you can have in your community and continue that impact. And so, again, like that's really what we're trying to do here is find some ways, some creative ways, unique ways that you can stand out in your community to
right,
have more of an experience that's positive, which from the branding side here, kind of take it for a second here, branding has a visual component to it, but a brand is no more better than the experiences people share in the community. If they're good experiences, the brand is great. If they're bad experiences, I don't care how good I make it look, it's a bad brand, right? So this is a way to help put another pin and a little check mark on your ability to have good experiences in your community using a technology, a SaaS. And Cinch is one that isn't just a SaaS for your agency, it's a SaaS that creates a bridge between other people also helping seniors in your community and impacting families' lives as well too. So it's more of a web kind of a SaaS solution rather than just your business working directly with families and clients alone. So it's a great innovative approach, a problem being solved in an area that a lot of people are turning to. I know there's a lot more
right,
senior communities being built throughout the country
yeah,
because people are living longer. So it's an inevitability that a lot of people will end up there at some point. And not being forced to lose caregivers, if it's still an option, is a great thing for families. Not losing a relationship with the company that's been caring for them is a great thing for families to help them at ease going into a new situation as well too. So
yeah,
it's a lot of moving parts here that seems like your SaaS covers the basis for, and that's incredible.
yeah. Well, it's a again, it's a piece of the puzzle. Not to oversell Cinch, but it solves a specific problem very well in fractional care and providing these services. But in the end, it's about you. It's about your, like you said, your brand, your model, success. That it can you build this model around it, and you're successful. Now you have the opportunity to bring that to other communities and
Awesome.
expanding your footprint. So you'll get again, it's an experience. It's like Chick-fil-A. Yes, my grandkids call it the chicken store.
Chicken store.
Chick-fil-A, it's an experience. I don't know about you, I drive
Yeah.
up there and marvel at their model, their customer service. Think of embedded home care as just that,
Yep.
and your agency can brand that in the way you do it, and that could expand your circle in many ways, guys, I tell you.
Awesome. Well, Tim, if there's a home care, home health company looking at this, watching this video right now, and they're
Yeah,
considering expanding into fractional care with senior community partners, or they're already in a partnership with the senior community and they want to make that experience better because it can
right.
be frustrating.
Yes.
What's the best way for them to reach you and get some more information about CCM?
Oh, well, thanks. Many ways, but, the first is the website is, cinchccm.com. And you can contact us and you'll see us about us and see Tim and Gina Murray. That's the best way, and our numbers up there. What gives us great joy is to help, and that may not be using Cinch. I mean, we consult with over 24 companies. I think in the last couple of years, just they want to understand this and be
Hmm.
ready, and we're happy to help. And if you're having a problem, we're happy. There's no nickel here. We'll talk, and maybe we can help you. So either way, if you're ready to get into it, we'd love to work with you. Consider us great. Or if you just want someone to talk to that can speak the language, just give us a shout. We just love helping people.
Fantastic. Well, Tim, again, appreciate everything you're doing to try and help improve the experiences for everyone involved and the care of people in communities and homes. I know this goes full circle here. So I really appreciate your
Yeah.
contributions.
Yeah, I appreciate your contributions over the years too, Kevin, in this area. So thank you for having me. Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you. Again, if you guys have questions about that, there will be a link as well in the description here, along with this video, to be able to reach out to Tim and get some more questions, see if it's a strategy that's going to work for you and how it can help benefit and grow your impact in your community through your home care business.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Thank you. All right.